Yeah, Third String Podcast. You already know. Talking topics, all sorts. Always everything sports. Third String Podcast. Plenty dialogue and banter. Talking all teams. But we always repping for Atlanta. Come join the discussion. You don't want to miss it. Keep it entertaining. All facts, authentic. NBA to NFL. And everything in between. This is Third String Podcast. Welcome to the team. Let's go.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's the Third String Podcast back with another episode. Daryl, it is episode 44. You should have been ready. Barack Obama.
What did
Barack
we say?
Obama.
Okay, we can do Barack Obama. Dang, I was supposed to be ready and I forgot.
I had to beat you to it, though.
Yeah.
Barack Obama, 44. He balls, he hoops.
Okay.
Sports.
Barack Obama.
Okay, cool.
No,
Shout out to him. And his birthday was recently, too, so there we go.
It was.
There we go. All right, so Daryl Good Sir, as always, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, especially talking about balling and hooping. NBA is back, man. It's back.
Yep.
Are
you hyped about it?
Extremely. At first, I just wanted to see how it looked at first.
Mm-hmm.
And the first couple of games were very close, but you could tell these people had a break. It almost looked like preseason at first.
Yeah.
The Lakers and Clippers game was very sloppy, and it ended up being close. And
it was good. It was still a good game.
Yeah, it was still a really good game. And Utah and New Orleans was the beginning game. Lonzo Ball had a terrible game.
Yep.
But you could.
I don't think he's had a good time. Period.
Well, he had one game. They still lost though. He had one. The second game it was better.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. His shooting. Well, a lot of people's shooting hasn't been great.
Facts.
Hasn't been. LeBron James and Anthony Davis had one game where Anthony Davis had over 30 points, but yesterday he only had 9 points, and then LeBron
only took 11 shots.
Yeah, only took 11 shots. But I'm excited to see it back. I thought it was going to be boring because with no fans, the energy.
But the virtual fans, how are you digging that?
It was a cool feature.
I think it's innovative.
It is innovative, but it's just like because. I say because the energy, you can't duplicate the energy of the fans.
You can't hear them.
Yeah, you can't hear them. And so I if you could hear like some type of crowd noise or something,
they
make it.
If I'm not mistaken, they've been doing some type of crowd noise, right? Well, I know baseball is. But I think they're doing some type of crowd noise and they get hyped with the announcements. But the fan thing, it's weird because like there's some type of lag. So
it's a very lag, and sometimes it freezes.
It freezes, and then fans will be like, they'll score, and then 10 minutes later, it'll be like, yeah.
Or you see, like they had Shaq. He was one of the fans, and you could tell he was like this, and then technically you could tell he moved, but the and then
I don't know.
There, did you see Lil at the Laker game?
No.
Yeah, he was at the Laker game last night, and it's just, I mean, it's cool. It's cool for what we have.
Yeah,
but
I see it now. They just showed it on TV.
Yeah, I'm not excited. It was just a cool feature. It was a very cool
feature. I think it's good, and it's funny too. I don't know what they could do about this. There was one game that wasn't a good matchup, bro. It just wasn't a good game. Like, I don't know, some boring game that you really didn't care too much about. There were a lot of empty seats in the virtual.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, how is this possible?
Yeah, you saw a game that was a blowout, and then it was a lot of empty. See, because they even said it. It was like just like a real game. The fans left. And I'm like, you don't have that many virtual people that can back up. Like,
you can't supplement them. Like, oh man, they left. Let's supplement.
Yeah, the next person in the queue comes on.
Exactly. From what I heard is they have to pay for that.
Oh, wow, really?
They have to pay to be featured on there. Yep.
Oh, then I would definitely not do it.
Is that not stupid?
That's crazy.
That's literally us right here. We're watching the game on our screen, but the webcam right here is the NBA's catching us. That's transmitting us to put us on their screen.
Right.
That's crazy. I'm paying whatever amount for that.
I would never do that. Never do it. Well,
what I do are diehards
is the NBA is taking the coronavirus very seriously, unlike baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking it very seriously. They just had their third rounds of zero positive. You can see even the benches are spaced apart. They have to sit in the same seat they sat in the whole time. So it's switching seats. They take this. I like that the NBA is taking it very seriously. They're taking even the Black Lives Matter movement very seriously.
Yes.
They have commercials. It's on the court. The one thing I want to know your opinion of this. The one thing I kind of don't like.
Yeah,
I don't like the names on the jerseys, man.
I don't either. At first, the first couple of games, it was either or. If you had a quote or something Black Lives Matter related, it would be on the top.
Right.
And then
your name would just be on the bottom.
Your name would just be on the bottom. Now they have both.
They have both. And it's like, this is the reason I don't like it. It's so clustered. It's so
especially Black Lives Matter is like this.
Yeah. And then
for those, hold on real quick. For those listening on audio, it's like
like a rainbow.
It's like a rainbow. Yes.
Oh, no. And with the name at the bottom, I would have preferred, and this is, I was talking to my wife when we were watching the first game. I would have preferred every team pick a phrase and they all have the same phrase.
Unity.
Yeah, so it's more unified. Them having all these different and then some having none. It's a cluster, man.
Yeah,
I'm thinking the poor announcers, because sometimes I was like, who was that? And because you're kind of far away, and I'm like, what's that? Because you have the number now.
You're trained from. There's some teams even in the NFL or NBA too that have the last names at the bottom of the number.
Right.
But you're accustomed to typically looking at the top of people's jerseys. But even if you do, you look at either or. If I see top and bottom, I'm like, what's their name? Yeah, and then you don't get long enough to look.
Yeah, and it's just a lot going on. Like, everybody has a different phrase. And I would have liked it better if they said, hey, Portland Trailblazers, what is your phrase? Lakers, what is your phrase? Bucks, what is your phrase? And all of them did something unified.
Yeah.
I don't really need you guys to kneel at the national anthem anymore, because I feel like the Black Lives Matter and all this has done enough. And it's almost the kneeling, like you didn't do it when Cap kind of risked his career. You didn't do it then, and it's like kind of so I don't really care if you kneel or not. And I don't think anybody should care. I don't think anybody should be punished. Like Charles Barkley said, anybody shouldn't be vilified. But Charles Barkley needs to keep that same energy when he talked about Kaepernick kneeling. He didn't. He vilified him. So, the look of it, the announcing, the commercials, everything is. Did you see I think it was the Nike commercial where they blended, edited two things.
Oh, so good.
That was crazy. Right?
I want to. Do you realize how long, like, the editing would take for that / finding all the clips to link those up perfectly?
Alone. Finding clips.
Insane.
Alone.
Finding clips for all that in sync. I don't know what they do. They got a top-notch team. So, guys, what we're talking about, for those watching and listening, it's the new Nike commercial where it's like, I think it starts with maybe LeBron or somebody. Well, it's a lot of different people, but it's in the middle. It's two different clips, though, of two different events, not at the same time.
Right.
But how in the world were they saying the same thing? Like, I'll touch on the LeBron part.
Yeah, it was
it's LeBron.
Our responsibility. And then I don't remember.
He moves over. Like, you know how, like, he just shifts over, swaying, and then it sways into, like, 75% of it is I think it's the female soccer player for the USA team.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it just keeps on going, and it's amazing. Like, you guys got to check it out.
Yeah, it's an amazing commercial. So
they always have great commercials, though. Always.
I thought what you have to offer, the presentation of this was very well. And then I thought, man, they're not going to play hard, because I just think with the fans, there's an energy level there that is not going to be there.
Yeah.
But we've seen some good basketball.
Yeah, very good.
We've seen very good. We were just talking Miami Heat. Miami Heat look like probably one of the best teams in the world.
They do.
The Lakers don't. The Lakers look up and down. Clippers look up and down. Bucks look up and down.
Yes.
The Toronto Raptors.
Yes.
Look like one of the best teams in the bubble. Portland,
which I don't want a back-to-back. But I honestly don't care this year.
Right. Trailblazers. Trailblazers, like I wanted to either start with all the NBA teams or just the
let's
playoffs.
pause there and let's land on them for a while. Keep going.
The Trailblazers are showing that they should be in the playoffs.
Yes.
They should.
Yes. Which brings me to this whole thing, even what the players are saying, it feels like an AAU tournament, which they do hold the like 17 and under AAU events there at that arena in Orlando. It looks like it. They say it feels like it to me. With that being said, it's like a tournament, or whether it be a holiday tournament or whatever, it feels like that for high school or for even college. It feels like a tournament setting. With that being said, I like it because some teams are going to play harder because they're used to that, and some got pampered and they're used to the NBA style. They're not playing as well, but there are teams that know that I can knock you out.
Yeah, and look at
the Trailblazers and the Heat. Those two, they're gonna knock some team. Yeah, and
the Pacers are undefeated.
They're gonna knock some people out.
And look,
one and done.
Did you see TJ Warren from the Pacers? Yeah. He dropped 50 and then dropped back and dropped 32 the next game.
Listen to that. Was TJ Warren gonna do that in regular?
Probably not 50. I mean, he was
50
before, but not 50. Probably not 50.
50. No.
So
some people are more comfortable. What I'm saying, they're more comfortable with the setting.
Yeah, the Clippers with the New Orleans game almost broke the record of most 3-pointers made.
Yes, they did. They were one off.
Like it was that was a complete blowout. If I had to say, and the only other thing that didn't surprise is one thing that didn't surprise me, it was the Washington Wizards. I knew the Washington Wizards were going to play their 8 games and they're going to get up out of there. So they have not won a game.
Honey, I'll be back with you soon. I'll be back.
These 8 games, I'll see you after these 8 games. Like the Washington Wizards, even being there, still boggles my mind. They had statistically, they had a chance, but that was it. We all knew they didn't have a chance to be here to make the playoff. But Brooklyn lost like 5 players. So Kevin Durant's not there. Kyrie Irving's not here. DeAndre Jordan's not there. Taurean Prince is not there because DeAndre Hunter and Taurean Prince both had COVID. Another one, somebody else had COVID. I think 3 players had COVID. Then you had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And I believe they won 2 games, surprisingly.
So yeah. Just like the Lakers. Lakers are 2-2.
Yep, Lakers are 2-2. Milwaukee is 1-2, and they're losing right now to the Heat.
They're getting blown out right now, by the way. Yeah. It's crazy. It's a tournament style. It's not an NBA style setting. So again, I really feel, I promise you don't want to see the Trailblazers.
No, you don't want to see the Trailblazers or the Heat. You don't want to see neither one of those two.
Those two in particular.
If you look at the Heat, Duncan Robinson, like
so good.
And Bam Adebayo, it's just
why is he balling?
Fire. They are on fire. It's some people like Paul George has showed out. Of course, talk about the Blazers with Gary Trent Jr. and Damian Lillard, Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo, man, is balling.
Showed out. What do you think your biggest disappointment though has been so far?
I feel like a few things. I feel like the Lakers could run it up. They could
disappointing,
but they could win this whole thing easily. Right. I think it's just too easy, or not too easy, but the setting is not. I don't know. They need it. They need the fans. They're the Lake Show, right?
Well, LeBron hasn't played well. He has not played.
Oh, not at all. He'll get his bearings. They're already in the playoffs. He'll be fine. A little more games, all that stuff.
I'm worried about that because you told me today LeBron's not playing, right? They play the Rockets
tonight. Correct. At the time of recording tonight, they're not playing.
They don't have the luxury to take games off because they played so bad.
Yes, that
they're good.
And then you guys haven't played since what, mid-March?
Yeah, you had like 3 months off.
Why are we taking breaks?
The Lakers
had 3.5 months off.
Terrible.
Yes.
Terrible, man. Did you see the Raptors game?
That's the only one I haven't seen.
The Raptors blew them out
including OKC blew them out.
Yep, OKC blew them out. So why are you taking games off? Especially you're playing the Houston Rockets, who the Houston Rockets beat the Bucks. They're playing the small ball lineup, which I am not a fan of the small ball.
I'm not, but it's somewhat working.
It's somewhat working because it's almost like in football playing the Baltimore Ravens. You're not out. I remember during the season I said you can't out Baltimore.
Yes.
They're not a good shooting team. Houston's not a good shooting team.
No, they're not.
They just take a ridiculous number of threes, so they're always in every game.
Yes.
But what did Trailblazers do? They hung with them 3-point and they played deep. And they used the big people, Nurkic and Collins, underneath to bully them because their center for the Houston Rockets is PJ Tucker and he's 6'5".
Yes.
It's like 7'7", 1.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to work during the playoffs, but people keep trying to be them and shoot a bunch of threes, and you're going to lose that way every time.
I don't think there's much structure right now for teams. I think they practice and they're going in it. I don't think for a lot of squads there's a lot of heart in this.
So my biggest disappointment, I agree with you, the Lakers.
Yes.
I believe the Lakers is up there. Mine is the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies has played awful. Ja Morant hasn't played that well during this bubble. And now Jaren Jackson Jr. I think he tore his ACL or something.
Meniscus, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. And he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
So Memphis.
That's going to hurt them.
Oh, they're done.
Yeah.
The Trailblazers are doing too well and they're doing too bad.
Yeah. Agreed.
And Trailblazers beat them.
Yep.
Remember, with the playing games, they have to be within 4 games to do this playing tournament, which I think is crap. I hate the playing tournament.
I meant to talk to you about that. I don't like it. If I got it, I'm good. I don't like that.
I think it's why? Why do you need it?
Money. Add more.
It's just, but I guess that's why you added all those West teams because you wanted them to get close to 4 games, and that's why
you can have more. Yeah.
You know, Washington Wizards right now, because they lost all their games, they do it by win percentage, not by record. They do it by win percentage. They are the Charlotte Hornets, who are not in this tournament, have a higher record than them.
Send them out.
Like the Washington Wizards being here is a joke.
Yeah.
And looking at my Hawks or our Hawks, like, man, we could have did way better than
I agree.
Neither here nor there. The Memphis Grizzlies are the youngest team in the league, and they play like it. And this is what my complaint about the 8 teams not being there, because the young teams need this experience.
And you could have, at this point, you could have just had these guys play the rest of their games. I don't think it's fair because, again, the Wizards, the playing fact they have a chance or they got a chance to play more should be a testament for everybody else. Like, let them play.
But Bradley Beal knew they didn't have a chance because he said, "Nah, I'm good, fam." I'm good. He knew. He knew they didn't have a chance. But the Memphis Grizzlies look like the youngest team in the league.
Yeah.
They look like it. That experience is going to be good for them down the road. But now they look like, hey, man, we had the AC, we had it, and we just fell apart. So that's experience that hopefully they'll get. Ja Morant, again, is not shooting that great. Jaren Jackson was playing well, but now he has meniscus tear.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks wasn't playing that great. They just weren't playing that great. And I was shocked at how bad Memphis just wasn't doing.
Now,
so that's my biggest disappointment.
Do you are they still going to do the same playoff bracket style?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the same amount of games, you got to beat them 4 times.
Yeah, once the actual playoffs start.
Yeah, when the playoffs start.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I get it. They're dragging that thing on.
Yeah, Portland. Luckily, if you guys look at it, like the Lakers play their 5th game today. So this thing is going fast.
It's quick. They're playing it. The turnaround. There's no day off.
There's no day off.
There's a game every night.
And then what you were talking about, offline was the time of the games.
Yeah.
It's starting at
1 p.m.
Especially with a lot of us being home.
Majority of yeah.
Starting at 1 o'clock is great for me.
I think it's awesome. You chill, do what you got to do in the morning, then you working / you got sports to pass the time at 1 o'clock to honestly about 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and then you can like the games you kind of don't want to see are at 1 o'clock, so you can kind of ease into it.
Yeah, you can have it on in the background.
Yeah, you kind of get those out the way until the better. Even though the 4 o'clock game is Milwaukee and Miami, which is really good.
Well, it should have been good.
Well, yes, should have been good.
Yeah.
The matchup, but man, Miami, Miami,
73 right now, guys. 73 to 56.
56.
Yeah, so it's crazy, but they're looking really, really strong.
Look at Boston. Boston is up and down too.
Yes, all the good teams. They're not ready for
up and
this.
down.
The mid-tier teams are going to run it up. Daryl, you might see another champion that you would never have expected.
Like
you know what? They're gonna
Raptors might make it to the finals,
Bro,
and none of us had them in the finals.
No,
they could make it. The Miami Heat could make the finals.
Yes,
and nobody never had them in the finals.
I think if any of those teams, besides in this situation, what we're talking about, like the Miamis or the Trailblazers, those teams make the finals, there will be asterisks like on the season, but there won't be. There won't be on Toronto though, because they won last year. They proved it.
But if like the Bucks, Lakers, and Clippers won, there won't be an asterisk because they were picked to win. Anybody else? But you know who else can make the finals?
Dallas
Nuggets can make
Dallas.
Dallas.
Have you seen Dallas?
Dallas could have beat Houston, but they tried that at the end. They tried to beat Houston instead of.
I'm saying they're already matched up. I believe it's pretty guaranteed.
Who they're matched up against?
The Clippers.
Clippers. Yep.
Yes, and they're playing tonight. By the way, they're playing next. At the time of recording, they're playing next. So you guys will already have seen that game when you guys hear this. But
please do not sleep on the Denver Nuggets.
No,
the Denver Nuggets could go to the final. They have Jamal Murray. They have their 2 draft picks that were drafted much later that some people had higher. Bol, Michael Porter Jr.
Bro, Bol, like, why is he so good right now?
Yes. Michael Porter Jr. went a couple slots before Kevin Huerter in that draft. Guaranteed, because Trae Young and Michael Porter Jr. are really good friends.
Yeah.
He was there at 19. The Hawks would have took him.
Yeah.
The Hawks would have took him at 19. But it's some good. Like, I like the fact that the teams that we thought were good, like the Clippers, Lakers, and Bucks, are kind of up and down. And then you have the Nuggets, the Heat.
But are they going to show up when it matters?
And that's why LeBron should not be taking a break.
No, he should not be taking a break. But if they do, Daryl, show up when it matters, and these other underrated teams are playing the way they're playing, you're talking about a really good playoff.
Right.
I'm talking about game 6 and 7s all the way through.
Yeah. And the Clippers, you could tell the Clippers games, they really miss like Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell.
Oh, big time.
You could tell
they're a team. They need everybody.
Yes. And that's what I said when I was watching them. I'm like, man, without Lou Will, I don't think they got a shot without Lou Will.
But he's back though.
Yeah, he's back. And I think Montrezl Harrell, he had his grandmother pass. So I don't know if his grandmother passed. So that's why he hasn't been here. Yeah. And I don't know if he's coming back or not. But he's a player that they kind of need, man.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. But so
that's
I don't know. It's up and down. It's a weird. This basketball season's like 2020. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but I like
up and down weird. But I think it's solid. It's better than baseball. It's better than these other things going on.
Right now, the Raptors and the Heat are better than like the Bucks, the Sixers, the Celtics.
Yeah.
And like Denver and Portland right now are like better than the Clippers and the Lakers.
Agreed.
And so it's been very interesting. One interesting thing I wanted to ask you about is we have seen a lot of kneeling. We've seen coaches, Greg Popovich and Becky Hammonds, they didn't kneel, and they didn't give a reason why. But I think Greg Popovich has been very outspoken on Black Lives Matter.
I just don't think he can kneel.
Oh, you don't think he can?
I'm just being honest. I know the dude's for the cause. That dude's super down. So no.
I think Myers Leonard he didn't kneel either.
No, he didn't. But he had the
Black Lives Matter shirt on.
But he had the shirt on. Yes.
And he said he had his brother that serves, and he just wanted to honor him. I don't think anybody should be vilified, just like Charles Barkley said, if they kneel or don't. Now,
but you want to mention who was super shocking for standing and not wearing the shirt?
Yes. Jonathan Isaac of the Orlando Magic. He didn't kneel. He stood and didn't wear the Black Lives Matter shirt. I don't think anybody has an issue with that. His reasoning.
I only kneel to God.
Yeah, I only kneel to God. And he basically, in a sense, said all lives matter.
Yes.
I believe in the Bible. He's a ordained minister. He's 22.
Yes.
He's a young guy, 22 years old, ordained minister. So
Yes.
he's heavily in the Bible.
Yes.
But to act like Jesus would not have stood up for depressed people is ridiculous.
Facts.
How many times have we heard, especially white people, use the Bible to justify the bad actions that have been done? They use the Bible to justify slavery during slavery.
Yes, correct.
So to do that, it would have been more like, he even said he believes in Black Lives Matter, but he believes all lives matter. That's kind of what he said. During the Bible, all lives matter. And it was just like, it was disappointing. Like, I don't care if you don't kneel. I really don't care about that. Like, personally, I don't even need you to kneel anymore.
Correct.
Like the stuff they're doing, the signs and the commercials and I don't really need you to kneel. But the explanation was not good. So then the next game, he tears his ACL. And
do you know how many people rejoiced over that?
That's what I was about to say. I knew when he tore his ACL, social media was going to have a field day.
And they did have a field day. Rewinding back, though, when he did stand, there were a lot of memes and people joking on Twitter, social media, whatever, about, dang, you got a lot of racist people's new favorite player right there. His jersey sales are going to go up. I didn't know when we spoke offline, they actually did go up.
Yep. His jersey was number 2 in the
number 2
to LeBron James. What does that mean?
What are we doing here?
What does that mean? So it could be a number of things. It could be.
It's not even like he was a true, like, he's always injury prone.
Yeah. And
so it's not like he's been balling and it's like, yeah, I like him because he's a baller play. Like he can.
He's not even a starter.
No.
So
what
you're
are
not
we doing
buying
here?
his jersey because he's a good player. You're buying his jersey because you basically want black people to shut up, and he's the representation of what you want them to do. If you want us to do, he's a representation of that. So you want to show support to that. You don't care about Jonathan Isaac. You probably didn't even know who he was.
I want us to be docile and be quiet. Shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble. And he's doing that. And then some people was like, I only bow to God. Because again, people use religion. They use religion. I was watching this video the other day. This guy was trying to give people free masks. And she was like, do you believe in God? You're going to go to hell if you wear the mask. And I was like, how does that correlate? So
all this is new. People are calculating this and they're making it work in their minds. I don't know.
Yeah. So him being number 2 just shows me what type of society we live in.
Facts.
Just and even to that, Donald Trump says he does not, because of the protests, he will not watch the NBA games. And LeBron responded, who cares? Who cares?
I second that. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? And then it's like,
your one view is not going to corrupt the the millions that are watching.
And the people got to understand that the NBA, one of the criteria for the NBA to come back, the players said you need to do something about this movement.
Facts.
That was the criteria for the players. So to sit here and act like and be mad about it, like they're working with the players to show, like, I don't get what's the point, because it's literally we're as supporters of Black Lives Matter, we're saying, hey, just stop killing us. Stop killing us.
Yeah.
And there's white people like, nah. Nah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, nah.
It's like, for people to be so upset about this, because like Trump, and every time I listen to these, I watch stuff on Capitol Hill and all CNN and Fox News, they never bring up why people are protesting.
They don't.
The fact that they're protesting.
They did. They when the people were protesting and all that stuff, CNN would bring it up.
CNN does
pretty often.
CNN is more liberal.
Yeah.
But the ones I'm saying, the more on Trump side.
Oh no.
They never bring it up. So remember we talked a couple podcasts ago. The Atlanta Dreams co-owner.
Yes.
So this I thought this was kind of dope that WNBA players were wearing the shirt of her opponent. I thought.
Oh! Wow!
For the opponent, and she actually said, you're bringing politics and sports. You should be unified, and we should unify under the flag. But
wow.
what people keep saying is, but when the flag and all this about rights were created equal, they weren't talking about us.
Right.
We were slaves, so why we can't unify under this saying when the saying wasn't even for us, when it was
yes.
created.
Right.
And that's all we're saying. Like, we're literally saying our lives matter, stop killing us. And white people are literally saying, nah, I'm good, fam.
Nah. So to tie this in, it's just crazy how Jonathan Isaac's jersey sales increase. But
right.
Just we shied away from it, but about his injury. How the social media just went crazy.
Right.
People were celebrating. People said, I told you so. That's what you get. You read what you sow.
The problem is, if you want sympathy, don't go to social media.
No, but it's all messed up. Like
it is.
And they're wrong for doing that, and people are wrong for buying his jersey.
Yeah,
for the wrong reasons. Everybody's wrong.
It's not funny that this young man tore his ACL. It's not funny
at all. That could be a career ender.
Yeah, and he's a free agent. So he's a free agent this year because it's an article that the Hawks might go for him as well because he's still 6'11" forward. Like, he's really good at really good potential of a player.
Right.
But I knew as soon as I saw it, I said social media is going to have a field.
I didn't see the game, but I got the alert and I said,
because I haven't watched one Orlando Magic game.
Me neither. But I watched the beginning when he stood up. I saw that live.
Okay. I didn't see that.
Yes, and I was gonna hit you up immediately, but I was like, I'm gonna let this one ride for a bit and see what happens. And everything I expected has occurred as far as what social media. But then he gets hurt. I see it. I'm like, I know social media is going in right now.
These jokes off.
Oh, I know. You better delete your account because I know. Yeah.
So you're gonna let these jokes fly. You ain't gonna stop that.
But it's weird. Like, he's like a pawn in this whole thing. Like, it's weird. He did that. Then all these people buy his jerseys for the wrong reason in support of what they feel like black people should do. Then it's like to say he gets hurt. So he gets hurt. And then black people or anybody who supports the cause is saying, see, that's what y'all get for buying his jersey. Like, he's being used back and forth.
Yep.
Like, for different reasons. And it's like,
because my thing was, I don't have a problem. You said I only kneel to God. Cool.
Yes.
But why does the shirt have to be like, to me, when you took the shirt, you knew what you were doing at that point.
When you took the shirt off, I said, I broke that down. People just saw like, oh, he's standing up. But I realized, I'm like, he also has the shirt off.
Yeah, he has his jersey on.
He just has he doesn't even have a warm up.
Right.
He just has this jersey. And I'm like, it's deeper than that.
And Paul George, a lot of players went to his defense and said that, we respect his right. And I think we all should respect his right. But then I also have the right to say your explanation was a dumbass one. I respect your right to do it, but the explanation, like with Myers Leonard, when he said, he still had the Black Lives Matter shirt, but he said, I believe in Black Lives Matter. It's just my brother, I think, or a family member was in the military. I just want to show honor to them. Nobody said nothing. It didn't even come up as an article. Nobody said nothing.
You know what's interesting where he could have found a compromise, a middle ground?
What?
Sit down.
Yeah.
Bro, sit down, Indian style, whatever.
I just thought if he would have wore the shirt, take off the shirt. If he would have just wore the shirt, because he said, I believe in Black Lives Matter. So what's the problem with the shirt? So if you would have just wore the shirt and said, I only kneel to God, I don't think he would have had the backlash he did. But it made it seem like, nah, Black lives don't matter, all lives matter.
Yeah, immediately, yes, he could have, for one, he could have sat down. And then if he stood up like he did, he could have worn the shirt, as you just mentioned. He could have worn the shirt. And just having the jersey does say all lives matter. It says it.
It just says it. It does.
So I don't. It's weird though. He doesn't get it.
Well, he's 20.
It's weird.
He's also 20.
Please, no. You will not dare do that. No. I don't care. I remember me at 22. No, I'm tired of people doing that even with high school kids. Yes, they're prone. They're more likely to make mistakes. 22, Daryl. This man has an accountant. I'm sure. I don't. This man has contracts. He has managers. He has a publicist. I'm sure he has whatever else. He probably has a big house. If not, he has an apartment where he pays rent. Don't you have all those responsibilities or less?
Right.
So if you're old enough to be in the league, I don't care. You're 22. You're over 21.
Right.
After when you hit 20, to me, for sure 21, I don't give you any excuses anymore.
Right. I mean, he should have known. He should have known.
No.
It was
but Daryl, real quick, you're telling me that high school kids don't know what Black Lives Matter means?
No, I told you in a previous podcast, everybody knows what it means. Even the racist people who don't believe. They just don't care. Everybody knows what Black Lives Matter because every time we explain Black Lives Matter, we give the same response.
Yes.
So everybody in this world knows what Black Lives Matter means. At this point, they just don't care.
They don't care. So It just bothers me when I'm sorry, you don't have to be vocal about it, but it's for you to not wear the jersey is just like you don't get it, and you're black.
And it's like you knew, like even. If I was one of his teammates, I'd be like, listen, man, that's cool that you want to do it, but you got to understand that this is what comes. Just like even if he doesn't know, I'm telling you, fam, this is what comes with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like I would have just said, you said you believe in Black Lives Matter, just wear the shirt and stand. But to do what you did, you put so much more on it. And that's why I knew when he tore his ACL, the fans were going to get these jokes off.
Yep.
I knew it. I went straight to the comic section.
I didn't even read any. I just knew. I haven't read anything.
You know,
I just knew. Yeah, I know. And usually I would, but I just was like, people were gonna go in.
Yeah, every time somebody posts our comments on our Instagram page, I read it.
You do.
I read it. I love them. Because
you do be going back and forth with some people though.
But the comments tell me where civilization is. Because the comments are more of these little hiding where they can hide and make these fake pages and make their little comments. But that tells me a lot where civilization is. So when ESPN says something about Black Lives Matter, I read the comments. Just because I want to understand as a civilization.
Biggest one, man, is when Disney posts something, for example, Black is King, the Beyonce thing.
Oh. The best meme, though, is when it's like Terry Crews is somewhere yelling, but white is king, too.
Yes.
That was my favorite way.
Yeah. But he is really that dude off of White Chicks.
Yeah, I don't know. He just need to chill. Somebody
just chill, man.
His wife need to take his phone. Like that Coon conquer something, our fear. No, what is it? Conquering our negativity. Conquering our own negativity. I was like, you're an idiot, man. But that's what Jonathan Isaac looks like, and I'm afraid that wasn't his intention, but it kind of was. And it's like. So when again, you're right. It shows us as a society that white people, we're gonna assume Trump supporters bought all his jerseys, and then non-Trump supporters joked about it once he got hurt. So both sides.
There's a divide. He was used for both causes.
He was used for political gain.
Yes. There we have it.
And all he should have did was just play basketball and just
play basketball, man. This is the one time I'm just play basketball.
Yeah, I guess we can't be hypocrites and say shut up and dribble because that's not what I'm saying.
I'm not. But I'm not saying shut up and dribble. Do what, but like you brought more attention without a cause.
Right.
Like Kaepernick's kneeling had a purpose.
Cause. Right.
This all has a cause and a purpose. Yours did not.
It got nothing to do with religion. And you
at all.
Nothing to do with it. Like that's like, and then people keep saying we have nothing to do with this. Has nothing to do with the military. We say that every time, right? The kneeling has nothing, but they keep bringing up the military. So basically, when you do that, again, what the Black Lives Matter meaning is, you don't care. You know it has nothing to do with the military.
They do not care.
Every time, you know it has nothing. And we just said earlier, Jesus would have stood up for oppressed people. He would have been with us.
All the same. We're all the same.
Yeah.
We all bleed red.
He would have been marching with us. He would have been right there with us.
Yeah.
And for you to use Jesus as an excuse to kind of be against us.
Yes.
Doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
Doesn't make sense. But
yeah. It's what a year, man. What a year.
It's been a crazy
fourth year. What a year. It's weird. I don't know what the crap.
So let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
Because I was watching the baseball standings today, and this is the craziest thing. The NL East, right? The Braves are number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2 NL East. Do you know who's number 1?
Washington, no.
Nope. Florida Marlins.
Oh my goodness.
They're 5 and
the COVID-ridden Marlins?
They're 5-1 and they haven't played. And I said to myself, can I be excited about the Braves? Because I feel like this season is not going to end.
Oh no.
So
we posted on our Instagram an article about it, and mentioned that if they don't get it together, it's gonna end pretty much. He said that. We've backed that and said I'm super for that, in that belief that I think it's going to end.
Yeah,
because it keeps going too. More and more cases from our last episode.
Yeah, because the Cardinals had case. They ballooned up in case. And you know what? They did an investigation. I don't know if we talked about it, but they did an investigation with the Florida Marlins and found out that they were going to the bar.
Oh no!
Like because they're going out and doing stuff, man. So, do you have a fear of basketball not crowning a champion?
Oh no, basketball will crown the championship. I see NFL not crowning a champion. That was my
next question. So you don't see, and I don't see football.
I don't see baseball and football happening. By the way, have you seen the numbers of cases that have gone around in the NFL?
Yep.
More since last week?
They have skyrocketed. So
there's a whole little category on teams of the non-playing list that are due to COVID. They have a COVID list.
Yes, they have a COVID list. I think Matthew Stafford was on that list.
He got taken off.
He got taken off. But Matthew, because I get to every Falcon that's on the list, I get an update.
But the plain fact that Stafford was once on the list is crazy. And might I add, how many other additional people have tacked on to last time we spoke that have decided to not play the 2020 season? And we're about to see third and fourth string players / new rookies that aren't having a preseason. They're about to play as starters, some of them, or second stringers.
No, and did you see Stephen A. Smith, said a brilliant idea. I didn't even know why this hasn't even brought up. When they're in camp, they have places that they stay, right, for camp.
Yeah.
Have them stay there the whole time of the season.
Oh, that's true.
So don't have
it's a bubble format.
It's a bubble format.
Yeah.
But have them stay there the entire time.
That's true. But some of those places, they're not good.
It doesn't matter. You got to take
hold on. Some of the places are universities. And if universities are going back to school, then you can't.
Well, you will have to block off and just like, hey, we have to
that's true.
Block it off. So where you're going to camp at, that should be where you're at the whole year. Like, I'm sorry, like just like baseball wants their cake and eat it too. You can't be with your family. You can't be with your family and crown a champion.
Yes.
You can't do it.
Yeah, during this time, no. Yeah.
So Odell Beckham, he made an interesting comment. I have it up somewhere. But he basically criticized the NFL.
He said they should not be playing this season.
Yes. He said that they don't see us as players.
Real quick, while you're looking that up, did you see what Stephen A. Smith said in response to this?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you approve of that?
I do.
Either just play or don't play?
I 100% approve. And this is why. The NFL is not forcing anybody to play. You just said how many players opt out.
Yeah, you're allowed to opt out and get a little severance type of package.
50,000.
Yeah.
If it's for medical,
to me, that's kind of low. Be real with you, but
it is. But for medical reasons, if you opt out because of medical reasons, you get 350,000.
Still low.
So Odell, I think, is making 18 million this year.
Yeah.
So, like, if you don't want to play, then don't play. For you to
okay,
say, and this is what I'm saying. This is what hurts our comments like this hurts our cause because when you're saying they don't see us as players, what do you want them to do? You guys don't want a bubble format. We're all trying to gain money here. It's not,
and also they're giving you a cut of something of money if you don't play,
right?
And they don't have to do it.
Yes, to make money, we have to play games.
Yes,
so
correct.
You have a option to not play the game.
Yes.
So your comments don't make any sense.
Okay, yeah.
Don't play if you feel this strongly, and I'm with you, Odell. I got a pregnant wife. So I would have to, if I played in NFL, I would have to sit there and make the decision. Like Marquise Goodwin made that decision that he just had a baby. He's not going to play.
I personally think Russell should be doing that.
Russell has a decision to make. But you could have been doing that. Like even Marquise, he was on First Take, and they asked him if they did a bubble format, would you play? And he leaned more to like that's something to think about. But you guys want to do a bubble format. You guys want the freedom to go to
They want the freedom. They want the freedom. Yeah.
Like
they don't want the jail-like format. That's their outlook. They don't want the confined, I have no freedom. I have no special guests. I can't bring in anybody. I want.
And you know what the issue with that is? The problem is this is why America is one of the worst or the worst countries when it comes to COVID. Attitudes
it is
like
the worst.
Nobody wants to make a sacrifice.
Correct.
You guys want the money. You just don't want to make the sacrifice to do it. So we want games like you want football. I want football. I'm a huge fantasy football player. I love fantasy football. We have to make a sacrifice. I want to go. My friend had a graduation party. I wanted to go.
Yeah, especially what he graduated in was incredible. I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I wanted to go, but my wife said that's probably not a good idea.
True.
Like and then I didn't go. We were about to take a guys trip to New Orleans, just get ready for a couple. And she said that's probably not a good idea. We all have to make sacrifices.
A lot have been made during this time. Yeah, I'll just throw that out there. Yes.
So Odell, you don't want to play because you're saying is risk your safety. That's fine. Ain't nobody mad about that. But then don't sit here and complain about it. But then say, nah, fam, I'm going to play to collect this 18 mil.
So we'll see what he's going to do. He has some time.
I think they have until today or tomorrow to make their decision.
Yeah, today or tomorrow. Yeah. You have a little bit of time.
They moved up the day where players can opt out. Because, bro, it's like, how much time we want to give y'all? Like, we got to start preparing.
Remember what I said that with the NBA bubble? How long are you gonna play or not? I said they're gonna have to put a cap on that. Give them a deadline because they can't. Oh, it's the day before travel. Oh, so and so's not gonna play.
They got mad at the deadline.
Yeah,
like either way, people are gonna be upset. We got to do whatever safe. And then the good thing about football is you can't pick and choose. Like baseball with Nick Markakis, he's opted out, but then he came back.
He's back, yeah.
Football, if you opt out, we good. You can't come back, which I actually like that more.
I like it. Make them stick with that decision. Because especially, let's say if a team runs it up and does really well, then Odell comes back.
You're like, nah, man, I didn't know the Browns were going to be this good.
I didn't know we were going to be 12-0 right now. I'm going to come back.
Heck.
Nah.
And you can't do it. So, speaking of receivers that want to come back.
Yes, sir.
AB got fined. We talked about this last week. AB got his. He went on social media complaining about the NFL would not end their investigation. They finally did. 8-game suspension.
Yep, we posted that on our Instagram.
Yep, I think it's very fair. Very fair. What do you think his future is?
You mentioned you commented on that Instagram post saying you think it's a good thing.
Right.
Because it will now give it, and now that I thought of your comment, I agree for him. That it's a good thing now because it gives him a a market now. It gives a date now, so to speak. It gives a date on when he's able to sign.
Right.
So it was in limbo, like, okay, he's untouchable. You can't touch him.
Right.
Now we know he's a player in the NFL again.
Yep.
So he just has to wait now 8 games of this 8 game suspension.
He doesn't have to wait 8 games. He has to get signed and then wait 8 games. So once he gets signed.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Wow.
So I know that makes it a lot worse. But
you're still right. Dang.
Like, yo, I could have a fresh AB for the second half of the season.
Facts. 8 down the first half. Have a bye week or so.
If I'm like Green Bay Packers, yo, I can hold out for 8 weeks. We can be competitive. Let's say even if we're 4-4, we're still right there. Have an AB back when we have a bleeding hole at wide receiver.
I would do that. I'd sign him now.
Yeah, I was. You got Philly, who all wide receivers seem to get hurt in Philly.
Yeah.
You have New England, which that's not an option, but they have some openings.
I think that season's just done.
But the two big, I said it last podcast, was the Baltimore Ravens,
yes,
the Seahawks, but the Seahawks look like they actually want him.
Yeah. So
you sign him and and then the Seahawks are already good. Like we'll weather this 8-game storm. You're probably not paying him a lot. It's probably an lace contract.
Yes.
And then we're just gonna hold out for 8 games because we're already good.
And then 9th game, ball out. And also gives you a chance to learn the playbook.
Yep.
During that work on your image.
Yep. You can
work out again.
You can prove them because your contract's not going to be high because they got to learn to trust you. You can pay that time to build trust. Everybody says
I think it's a win-win for him. In particular, a Baltimore or a Seattle that has the coaches that can help.
Did you see though? Under that post, we have a mutual friend that said AB's a clown on that.
Yes.
I thought it was funny. We're talking about you, Troy. I thought it was funny that he did it because he's a Steelers fan too.
Yep.
And so it's like, okay, it's some more animosity here, but you have to say
it goes deeper than that.
It goes deeper, But AB, him finally getting the 8 games is great for him. It is for him.
I had to think about it after your comment. Yeah.
It's great. He's going to come back. A team will sign him. First of all,
now they know the layout that they can. Yeah.
Yeah, and they will sign him for the simple fact that teams are backing out. Not teams are backing out. Players are backing out. So for the simple fact they're going to need from players might be backing out or injuries that might happen. He will be signed.
Yeah.
I first said
I know
he was coming back.
I said no, he wasn't.
Now, asking if you were a GM, would you sign him is a different question.
But the plain fact that Seattle actually wants him and now they know the lay of the land.
They are he's
probably going to Seattle.
And Lamar Jackson is politicking for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he has good in his corner. So he
has 1.5.
Yes.
Because he has a full team that wants him, and then he has a star player that wants him. Which is a lot to ask for. But yes, guys, definitely check out our Instagram. It's right there on the ticker down below, and also in the description box below. Third String Podcast, simple as that on Instagram. So we post an update on there too. So just had to mention that
all the time, and we love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, it's fun. I love when you get a lot of engagement and Daryl's going. Daryl will be the guy that's going to don't think you're just gonna have your comment and it's just gonna be out there. If it's a good comment, you'll get a like, but you'll also get a little questionnaire back at you from Daryl.
I respond.
Be ready to battle back if it's a questionable comment. So
yeah, because I want to know why you feel the way you do. So I'm excited. Yeah. I didn't respond to Troy because we knew why. We knew where that was coming from.
Yes, I understood. But yeah, I think we also could see the season not happen. We got a month away.
They're going to try to start it.
Oh, they're going to try and start it. They need the money.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. But
also just an article just came out that there are going to be no fans at the stadium. I know some teams.
Oh, is that
yeah, it just came out today because Falcons were preparing for 20,000 fans, which I thought was crazy.
So much.
Yeah, now they're saying no fans, so they're going to lose. NFL's going to lose a lot of money.
So many ways. Yeah, from merchandise in the games in the stadiums to vendors and people are going to lose money. Unfortunately, people will lose income. Yeah, lose work.
Work. So it's gonna be a trying year.
Yeah.
I think America has showed us that nothing will be changed until a vaccine is created. This is going to be our life until the vaccine is created because they're not doing. No,
yeah. You're right. Yeah. So do you have any update, like take on college football, for example, them playing only in conference?
Yeah, because I'm worried about the Division II schools and who get money off playing the Division I schools.
Yes. They get $900,000 to $1 million to play.
Yeah. And sometimes that's their, like, they need that money.
They need it. Yeah.
So I think.
And we could have a whole episode on that. I'm for it and I'm super against it.
Yeah. It's weird for, like, all right, University of Georgia. Let's use that. Yeah. It's weird to say you can play Tennessee, you can play Alabama, you can play South Carolina, but you can't play Georgia Tech.
Correct. And there are people, I just read an article, Florida and Florida State are petitioning to still play their game.
Yeah, like, because how can I go out the state, but I can't play somebody?
I can't play. See, I agree with that. I think if you're going to have us go out of the state, but still be in conference, I should still be allowed to play people in my state.
Yeah, like out of conference in my state. In my
both.
state.
Yeah. I agree.
UConn just said they're not playing any games. And then
at all?
Yeah, UConn said they're not playing anything.
Can they do that?
Well, they did it. I don't.
How does that work for people who were going to play against them, conference wise?
I mean, that's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
But I don't know. I think this is just a weird year, and the only reason we're having college games is recruitment, scouts.
So it's there's no champion. It's literally for money. It's money / draft. Draft super last. Recruitment, all that's last. It's money.
Yep. And I'm saying for college, it's for money. The players, the only reason I want to play is because I'm trying to get drafted.
Like, you have to, man. Like we'll segue this into the Pac-12 whole situation.
Right.
You have to feel a certain type of way that you're being used.
Yeah, but you're
being used.
But you've been used.
I know what you're about to say for your own gain, but you have to actually think about humanity outside of it.
Right. Well,
you're being used.
College has been using their players this entire.
Oh, for you, but it has to stop.
Right.
Which a little progress with them being able to get paid starting next year is a massive change because you got the NCAA, it's one building, and I think Indiana. They're running all this stuff. While all these players are out there, why are we listening to them and they don't know what goes on in the schools? They're dictating everything.
Right.
So things need to change. But college, like you said, college sports have been using student athletes for decades on money. For the college football games that used to be played, the video game, jersey sales, it's coming back.
Yep, it's coming back.
Well, now that they can get paid,
that makes sense. So it's coming back. But yes,
the jersey sales, I'm talking about beforehand.
Jersey sales,
all that stuff. You're reaping the benefits, even if it doesn't even have my last name on it.
Yep. And that's
they know that's my number.
They kind of get away with it by not putting the last name.
You know, number 2's me,
right?
Like, I don't know.
No, you're right. But the only reason college would play, I would think, is because they're trying to get drafted.
I get it.
No other reason.
But I don't think you can actually, for every conference, you can actually base real recruitment off of this coming year. You cannot.
No, you can't. And this is why I told you Seattle got out of this draft.
Yes.
They didn't want to be no part of it.
100%. What you said with that, 100%. Now, you will really be able to do the SEC. You can still recruit people off of that. You play each other, and it's going to be just pound for pound good. In some other conferences, too, as well. But some other ones that are top 2 heavy or even just top heavy, which is one dynamic team. For example, what is Notre Dame going to do?
What is Notre Dame going to do? What is the ACC going to do? Who is Clemson and then everybody else?
Well, no. They're every other year. So it could be good again this year where it's going to be a good matchup.
You think so?
Because usually, what was it? Virginia was legit. Virginia Tech was solid.
Yeah, they were solid, but they weren't Clemson.
But I'm saying
they weren't nowhere near Clemson.
That's true. But they were pretty solid. A lot of them were ranked. All that stuff. So,
but it's like you're saying with these top heavy, because you got like Ohio State and then like Penn State, and then the rest are kind of black. Like
so top
are kind of black.
They're just gonna be those guys. But then again, the Notre Dames, they're independent.
Yeah,
who do they play?
They're gonna be undefeated.
As they always are. They need to put them in conference so they can actually.
They don't want to be in conference.
I don't like they have a choice. The plain fact they can make their schedule is insane to me.
And then the Big 12, it's just like it's too much unknown. That's why I'm like there shouldn't be a college playoff this year.
I don't think there's going to. I literally Daryl think it's going to be play your games and it's it.
Yeah,
there's no way you can crown anybody.
Yeah,
you can be an no. The only one championship there will be conference championship.
Yeah, it'll only be conference championships. That's it. And that's if we even could get there. Because at least college might be easier to do a bubble because you could put them all in the dorms. So that might be a little easier.
You're going to have to hire some more staffing and security, make sure them kids don't have people come in and out, including themselves.
But this like you want to be – well, not everybody's going to be drafted. But I'm like for people who like Trevor Lawrence, I'm like, bruh, you messing me up now.
Yeah.
I'm like, you messed up.
Both of them already said. I think they're set on the NFL.
Oh yeah. They're set.
Yeah, I think it's just other people that are coming up. Yeah.
Justin Fields could move up or down depending, but Trevor Lawrence is set. Trevor Lawrence is number one pick, no matter.
Yeah.
He's number one pick.
Right.
But I'm like, bruh, so if I'm some guy who's on the fringe of second round to third round, I'm like, bruh. So it's going to take 110% of buy-in. Because like you said, we can put you in a bubble, which is your dorm.
Yes.
But I'm not about to police you 24/7.
But all those athletes, too, would have to do online school.
Yeah.
They can't go to class.
No, they can't go to class. No. Mm-hmm. And I think some colleges are doing online because I know Morehouse is.
Yes.
I know someone goes there right now.
Yeah.
So I know
and a lot of schools are doing online. Yes, they are. But some aren't.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know the number of who is and who's not. Mm-hmm. So, but you would have to do set times to go into the eating areas where nobody else from the school can be in there.
Right.
And you would have to sanitize beforehand before those kids got in there. And I'm not even trying to give, by any means, the jocks, the athletes, special treatment.
Right.
Even though they do get it. I'm not trying to give it that, but since this is a sports-based podcast, I'm saying you would have to protect them.
You would have to. If you want to, you would have to.
If you want to play the season. So again, guys, this is just saying based off of this is a sports-based podcast. We're talking about the student athletes.
Yeah, you would have to.
Everybody should be protected. But yes, we're talking about the student athletes. They would have to clean and all that stuff and then have designated times. There to be a lot of team bonding. And also you'd be tired of your teammates because that's all you'd be able to see.
Be around. Pack a PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's all.
Facts.
Your room. I would be like, if I got to take this little risk so I can get hopefully drafted and make millions, like sign me up. Like I'll do this for 10.
But I can see how it would be hard for the kid that's down the line, the walk on,
right?
That wanted to just play because it's in his family's legacy,
right?
And he doesn't have a chance,
right?
It would be hard to stay in that bubble.
Well, I mean, to do it, then you should do it for the love of it, and if you're gonna do it, you got to have 110 buy-in.
But usually, man, those walk-ons like that, heart of a lion, heart of champions.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have a problem with them. I think you have the problem with more of the stars who think they're bigger than the rules.
Either the star or the second string person that did get a scholarship that wants to be a starter. That's like, I'm going to transfer anyways to Tennessee State next year.
Yeah, if you don't sit here and have 110 buy-in, then don't do it at all. Because we see what baseball happens. We're going to have another baseball. And it's weird that baseball is playing games when you have like 4 teams that are on quarantine.
How long do you give them
to cancel?
Yeah,
I think they're going to hold on as long as they can.
But what is your time frame for them?
A month.
So Labor Day.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because they can't contain this. Especially with the players doing whatever they want, they can't contain this.
And steadily, it keeps increasing the amount of people, too. It keeps going up. So.
And the NFL is going to have to look at it. Because all it takes, too, and God forbid, it takes one person to pass from this.
Yeah.
And you like, man, shut this down. If we're not doing a bubble format, we not doing it. Like the player union, if you're not agreeing to a bubble.
They just don't think death can happen, man.
Right.
And again, Lord forbid that somebody, like gets it and passes. Like that risk alone it's too much. If it's not a bubble format, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. If we're not talking about a bubble, we not coming to the table.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna try to sue me over playing games and make me look bad, saying I forced you to play. When it was like, if we're not talking about bubble, let's not even talk.
And then on the other side, like, I don't know if everybody's up for it. Like, say college football, the schools are up for it. They're telling them. Now, if I'm a player and the bubble's not presented to me, I get what you're saying. If the bubble was presented to you by the higher ups and you turn it down, then yes, speaking from what you were doing, speaking from their perspective of you're not going to come back and sue me when I offered it. I'm speaking on the other end now. If it wasn't offered, say for a college football wise, you guys got to rally together and demand it because you can't be going and playing. And now your risk of getting COVID and possibly passing, and they're making millions off of you.
Right.
And then it could get more money or a shutdown.
Right.
If they're using your name to say, oh man, he played so hard and all this stuff and all they could reap the benefit off of the sympathy and empathy of your likeness.
Yeah. Don't do it. If it's not a bubble format, don't even come to the table. And that's
I agree.
Showed you that. Baseball showed you it's not going to work.
It's not. Baseball's doing it wrong. Love baseball. Glad to see it back.
But they were doing it wrong from the beginning.
Not working.
When they're arguing over money and stuff, they've been doing it wrong from the beginning.
Did I not say this on an episode of the podcast? It should have been done.
Yep.
Let's start back next year. Try again. And then I just saw randomly they agreed on playing, and then they did poor advertisement on it and talking about it's coming back like the 26, 27. I'm like, it is?
All right.
And then it started. I don't know, but it's a lot. Yeah. Anything else in the news, good sir?
That's it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the Lakers. Well, I want to say a shout out really quick. Chris Paul.
Chris Paul's balling.
Chris, whatever his middle name Paul is.
Chris Darryl Paul.
is balling. Shout out to him. This is the shout out. For one, you're balling, meaning you're happy to be back too.
Yep.
You are balling.
Yep.
The plain fact he rallied that trash team to being here, and they're pretty set. They're not even AC. They're higher up. They're like 6th, 7th. That they're even there. Yeah. That they're even there is amazing. 2, the trade with Westbrook, and then how many draft picks you guys have already in the future, and then you already have a good team. All I said was, man, I remember we talked about this on the podcast. That season's over for the Thunder. Poor Chris Paul.
And Billy Donovan should be coach of the year.
Oh, he did. He won.
He did win?
No, coach of the year with Coach Bud, I believe.
Nice.
By the way, Coach Bud winning Coach of the Year. How do you feel?
I mean,
no, I know that. Do you get where I'm coming from with that?
Yeah, you're not for Lloyd Pierce. You're not 100%.
I just think it's weird how Coach Bud, you guys may or may not know, coached the Hawks, and then goes on and coach Milwaukee. They wait a second, huh?
The 60-win Hawks.
Yes, and then that is true. And then goes to Milwaukee, waits a second, and then they're dynamic.
He didn't want to be a part of a rebuild. The Hawks wanted to do a rebuild. He didn't want to do it. So people
also, he was rebuilding.
Right.
But people also kept calling for him to be fired. And I said, what? Like, this dude's doing a great job. And people wanted him fired because he was also with the president of the team, something like that. It was something like that. He had a nice little job offer here.
Right.
2 roles.
Right.
But
yeah, he had the 2 roles. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's awesome. I'm happy for him. But yeah, you know my thing. I think Lloyd Pierce should be a coach, but not the coach, not the head coach.
Yeah, you know, I'm starting to. If the Hawks don't make the playoffs, I'm this year. If they're not, I'm with you.
Keep him as a defensive coach for the team. That's cool. Or be a head coach somewhere else. I don't think always. Everybody's not always meant for everybody. For example, I think Matt Ryan is a really good player, but I think Matt Ryan would be a mega superstar somewhere else. And then I think if we brought in a running quarterback, we could go easily with the team we have to the Super Bowl. Right. So I think sometimes you need that breakup to shine. And a lot of people do go somewhere else and become big time. Right. But shout out to Chris Paul for doing what he did and also doing what he's doing. And then shout out to the team for having all the good draft picks with doing so well this season. And then lastly, shout out to Chris Paul yet again for being the president of the
basketball association.
Yes, to get the season even happening
without Chris Paul.
So that's amazing. So
also the Bucks are up against the Heat. 107, 106.
It is 106. Yeah, with at the time of recording, 5 minutes 55 seconds, something like that.
Bucks are
yeah, that's crazy. So that shows they're a good caliber team. So shout out to them. So yes, that's all. I wanted to wrap it up with a clean shout out. Cool. So with that being said, you don't have anything else to add. I will just add. Make sure you guys check us out on SoundCloud at Third String Podcast. Oh, it's so beautiful. Don't you love our intro?
I do love it.
So good. It is now implemented on YouTube now, so you guys watching, you guys can see a nice little overlaid montage of images with the dope podcast theme. So, and then you guys already know, listening on SoundCloud audio, it's awesome. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe here on YouTube and also follow us on our SoundCloud and vice versa. Everything linked in the description will be down below for both ways, all that stuff. And again, check us out at 3RD String Pod on Twitter, and then Third String Podcast, where we heavily upload on our Instagram. So make sure you give us a follow there and all that good stuff. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. We'll catch you with another jam-packed week next week with a nice overlay to how this thing will look. Daryl saw a taste of it. We're going super professional, boys and girls. It's going to be amazing. We're taking this to the moon. It's going to be great. So thank you all so much, and we'll catch you next week. Enjoy these NBA games and a little bit of this baseball season if it keeps happening. So,
as long as it lasts.
As long as it lasts. All right, guys, take care, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.